Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well on this Palm Sunday. I know it's an unusual Palm Sunday as many of us were not able to gather. In fact, most of this country and most of the world were not able to gather. And these unusual times have really got me to think a lot. And one of the things I'm grateful for is this technology. I mean, to be able to share like we can right now. Imagine this crisis happened 30 years ago. We wouldn't have this kind of communication. I think things would be even far worse because of the inability to communicate. But as I was thinking about this week coming up, this Holy Week, and the unusual times we're in, I had somewhat of an unusual thought, and I wanted to share it with you. Um, what if we treated the gospel like it was toilet paper? You know, you can actually choose to live without it, but why would you want to? Unfortunately, some people choose to live without the gospel, and I think that comes from the simple thought of it's not worth it. You know, the reason why you buy toilet paper is because the value exceeds the cost. It's worth it to you. It's worth the price. It's worth the effort. If you need to go to another stall, the value exceeds the cost. And whenever something has a greater value than the cost, um, a change happens. You make a decision to buy, you make a decision to start, whatever it might be. But when the value exceeds the cost, change happens. And you know, Jesus at the cross, he went at a great cost, and he thought that you were worth it. He thought that the value of your life was worth the cost of his death. And I want you to think about this as you go this week. Um, I think that the pandemic, as it started, toilet paper flew off the shelves, and people were worried. You know, they didn't want to be vulnerable. You know, when they were most vulnerable, they wanted to make sure that they could address it. They feared living without it. Imagine we feared living it without Jesus, like we fear living without toilet paper. I think that would be amazing. In fact, I think there would have been toilet paper for plenty of people. And so, if you are a follower of Christ, you are called to be a change agent. You are called to help lead. You're called to help build that value. And you're called to love your neighbors. And so, I'm going to ask you that you take it upon yourself to commit to loving the one in front of you. That's even just beyond this pandemic. But right now, love your family, love your neighbors. You know, a lot of people are in a situation where it's not good. In fact, in this crisis, things are being amplified. If your family situation is great, then that's amplified because you get to be together more. But if your family situation is tough, if you're somebody that's being abused, it's terrifying right now because you're stuck. And so I think it's really important that despite the fact that we're supposed to shelter in place, despite the fact that we're supposed to stay inside as much as possible, that we still reach out. Social distancing physically doesn't mean social distancing emotionally. We can call people, we can write notes, we can check in on people, and I think many people are doing that. But if you're not, I'm going to encourage you that you just do that. Because love is demonstrated by when you go out of your way. Love isn't about being efficient, it's about being effective. So please don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Don't be afraid to send a note. Don't be afraid to reach out to somebody. Even though you're not supposed to physically contact people right now, that doesn't mean you can't connect. And I'm going to encourage you and challenge you that you reach out to people, that you lead the way. Because when people see that you value them, when people see that you value the gospel, they might too. And maybe, just maybe, one day the whole world will treat Jesus like they treat toilet paper. Can't live without it. Thank you so much for your time. I love you all. God bless.